Hello, Tarnished One. What are you doing out here in the snow? Getting into the Christmas spirit. So am I. I've just finished decorating this tree with rainbow stones, and I was about to settle in for the night. But since you're here, would you care to hear a Christmas story? Okay then, grab some hot chocolate and a blanket, and let's take a seat over here. This story takes place many centuries ago, well before the shattering, when the Halig tree was still untouched by scarlet rot and was simply a whisper of hope amongst those looked down on by the Golden Order. Once upon a time, in the village of the Albinaurics, lived a second-generation Albinauric named Little Timmy. His humble home was the murky poison swamp at the foot of the village. Though Little Timmy never fit in with the first-generation Albinaurics in the village, he rarely ventured beyond the swamp where the blue lakes of Liurnia glistened and the other second-generation Albinaurics lived. But one December evening, his quiet life would be forever changed. While the others were busy decorating their homes with glowing rainbow stones, as was their festive tradition, the village elder summoned Little Timmy to speak with him, anticipating a scolding for tracking poison mud through the town square. Little Timmy approached the elder, ready to defend himself. It wasn't his fault he had to live in the swamp when all the houses in the village were occupied. However, the elder raised a hand to silence him and revealed a special task. "Listen here, Little Timmy," said the elder. "This year I have chosen you to find a Christmas tree for the village square, the grandest tree you can find. Can I entrust this task to you?" "I'm going to find the biggest tree in the lands between. You can count on me," Little Timmy promised. So with newfound resolve, Little Timmy embarked on a journey into Liurnia. Finally, this was his chance to prove himself to the other villagers. Yet every promising tree he discovered was claimed by other Albinaurics already, and they chased him off wielding clubs and ripple blades. Disheartened from a long day of disappointment, Little Timmy decided he would have to return home empty-handed. "I'm not cut out for this," he thought to himself. "I'll never be as clever as the first-generation Albinaurics back in the village, and I'll never be as tough as the other second generations that grew up in the wild." As he trudged through the water with his head hung low, a shimmering reflection caught his eye. A golden tree. He looked up, and there it was, the Erd Tree, an awe-inspiring sight that fueled his determination. He knew now what he had to do. If he brought back the Erd Tree itself, he would finally earn the acceptance of the other villagers. So Little Timmy set forth, climbing cliffs and traversing caves, imagining the astonishment awaiting him when he returned to the village with the Erd Tree. His journey led him to Altus Plateau and Leyndell, the royal capital. Yet, when he approached, he was greeted by a barrage of arrows. As he tried desperately to dodge the attacks, a Leyndell knight came galloping up from behind and threw a hood over his head, disorienting him. Though he struggled as hard as he could, he was no match for a knight, and little Timmy was thrown into a cart headed for Volcano Manor, a place where Albinaurics and others cast out by the Golden Order faced the most horrific torment. They rode for hours, it seemed, and little Timmy, exhausted from the struggle, fell unconscious. When he awoke, he was in a cell, surrounded by countless other unfortunate captives. Little Timmy curled up on the cold floor to await his terrible fate. But through the darkness came the voice of an old Albinauric. "Don't give up, young one. Here, take this medallion and use it at the Lift of Rold. There may still be hope if you find the Halig tree." How big is this Halig tree?" little Timmy asked, amazed at the wisdom of the old Albinauric, somehow sensing that little Timmy was searching for a tree. "It is said to be even bigger than the Earth tree," said the old Albinauric. Guided by the old Albinauric's advice and armed with the secret medallion, little Timmy escaped captivity, and his quest resumed, aiming for a tree even bigger than the Earth tree, the Halig tree. His quest took him through the Forbidden Lands and past the Lift of Rold until he reached the consecrated snowfields. Lost in the snow, little Timmy faced many challenges. He encountered hostile wandering nobles, trolls, and intimidating Albinaurics who lived in the mountains. He found himself lost within caves of ice and wandering aimlessly through snowstorms so extreme he couldn't see a thing. Seeking refuge from the storm in an old church of America, he encountered a giant Albinauric woman who welcomed him to rest as long as he liked. "Do you seek Michaela's Halig tree?" she asked him. "Yes, how did you know? What else would an Albinauric from Liurnia be doing out here in the snow?" she said. "My village elder entrusted me with finding a Christmas tree, so I'm going to bring back the biggest tree there is," little Timmy told her with pride. The Albinauric woman was not pleased. "You mean to cut down the Halig tree to doom us all? The Halig tree is the only safe refuge for those of us cast out by the Golden Order. One day, Michaela, the unalloyed, will blossom into a god, and all those in the Halig tree will be blessed with bounty beyond belief." Little Timmy listened in awe. He never imagined there could be a place where Albinaurics would be free from persecution by the Golden Order, and a place where they wouldn't have to fight amongst one another for resources. And he realized that bringing the villagers to this haven was a far greater gift than any Christmas tree. With a newfound purpose, little Timmy shared his plan with the Albinauric woman, and she directed him to the transporter gate in Ordina. And so it was that the Albinaurics of Liurnia had the most magical Christmas amidst the canopy of the Halig tree. They decorated the boughs with rainbow stones and rejoiced in the beautiful trumpeting music of the Oracle Envoys. That year, little Timmy learned the true meaning of Christmas, and although he would never be remembered for finding the biggest Christmas tree, his legacy was much greater. He will always be known as the little Albinauric from the swamps of Liurnia, who led his people across the lands between to find sanctuary in the Halig tree. And that's the end of little Timmy's story. Now I think it's about time to head to sleep, don't you? Merry Christmas, fellow tarnished ones. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the new year. Good night.